Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door.
I need one of the pieces your father collected.
I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love.
In 1981, a fedora-wearing archaeologist armed with a whip and an unshakable wit burst onto the big screen in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Directed by Steven Spielberg and conceived by George Lucas, the film wasn't just a story about treasure hunting, it was an homage to the daring serials of the 1930s and 40s, reimagined for a new era. With its breakneck pacing, iconic characters, and unforgettable action sequences, it became a defining moment in cinematic history. But behind the adventurous facade lies a surprising and often debated creative choice, a backstory about Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood that almost derailed the way audiences would view their relationship. What was so controversial about it, and why was it nearly included in the film? Let's journey behind the scenes to uncover the truth and explore the fascinating stories that shaped this timeless classic. The idea for Indiana Jones began in Hawaii in 1977, where Lucas and Spielberg were vacationing to escape the pressures of Hollywood. Spielberg was fresh off Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Lucas, still unsure about how Star Wars would perform, pitched an idea for a swashbuckling archaeologist who could rival James Bond. Drawing inspiration from old adventure serials and his childhood dog, Indiana, Lucas envisioned a character named Indiana Smith. Spielberg, however, suggested a name change to Jones, and a cinematic icon was born. Casting Indiana Jones wasn't as straightforward. Lucas initially resisted casting Harrison Ford, fearing he would become too synonymous with Lucas's films after Star Wars and American Graffiti. Tom Selleck was cast, but had to back out due to his commitment to Magnum P.I. With time running out, Spielberg persuaded Lucas to reconsider Ford, and the actor stepped into the role just weeks before filming began, bringing the perfect blend of grit, charm, and humor. Ford wasn't the only element that defined Indiana Jones. His iconic look, leather jacket, fedora, and whip was meticulously crafted. Costume designer Deborah Nadoolman aged the hat by twisting it and sitting on it until it looked suitably worn, and Ford trained with a bullwhip to use it convincingly on screen. The character's rugged exterior was matched by his penchant for dangerous adventures, from dodging booby traps to fighting Nazis, and audiences couldn't get enough. One of the most compelling relationships in the film is between Indy and Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen. Marion's introduction as a fiery bar owner with a complicated past brought depth and energy to the story. But her backstory with Indy nearly took a much darker turn. During story meetings, Lucas, Spielberg, and writer Lawrence Kasdan debated their history, initially proposing that Marion was only 15 or 16 when she had a romantic relationship with a much older Indy. Lucas argued that this made their dynamic more intriguing, while Spielberg pushed back, insisting it would alienate audiences. While the final film hints at their past, Marion accuses Indy of betraying her when she was a child. The most controversial elements were wisely left out, keeping the focus on their present-day chemistry. Marion's character was shaped by a mix of strong writing and Allen's spirited performance. Writer Lawrence Kasdan named her after his grandmother, Marion, and a Los Angeles street, Ravenwood Court. She was designed to be a tough, resourceful counterpart to Indy, and Allen brought that balance of vulnerability and strength to life. One scene, however, further exploring their romantic history, was filmed but ultimately cut. This deleted moment showed Marion pulling Indy close in an emotional, seductive exchange, but Spielberg decided it clashed with the tone of the film. Instead, Marion's resilience and quick thinking became the defining traits of her character, making her one of the most beloved heroines in the franchise. The production of Raiders was an adventure in itself, filled with challenges, surprises, and memorable moments. The opening scene, where Indy retrieves a golden idol from a booby-trapped temple, set the tone for the film's high stakes and relentless energy. Filmed in Hawaii, the sequence required Ford to outrun a massive fiberglass boulder, a feat he repeated 10 times to get the perfect shots. Ford's stumble during one take was unplanned, but so authentic that Spielberg left it in the final cut. In Tunisia, where much of the action was filmed, the cast and crew faced grueling conditions. Nearly everyone fell ill from food poisoning except Spielberg, who survived on a stash of canned SpaghettiOs. The infamous market scene, where Indy faces a swordsman, was originally scripted as a lengthy fight showcasing Indy's whip skills. However, Ford, weakened by dysentery, improvised by simply pulling out his gun and shooting the swordsman. The moment became an instant classic, earning one of the film's biggest laughs. The snake-filled Well of Souls scene also came with its own set of challenges. Spielberg wanted thousands of live snakes, but the production team could only gather around 7,000. To fill the gaps, they cut rubber hoses to resemble snakes and scattered them across the set. Karen Allen's stunt double refused to stand among the real snakes, so snake handler Stephen Edge stepped in, shaving his legs and wearing a dress to double for Marion. The film's climax, where the Ark of the Covenant is opened, remains one of the most memorable and horrifying moments in movie history. The melting faces of the Nazis were achieved using wax models heated under lamps, with the footage sped up to create the effect. Spielberg described the scene as one of the most impressive visual effects he'd ever seen. Despite the hurdles, Raiders of the Lost Ark became a massive success, redefining the adventure genre and solidifying Indiana Jones as a cultural icon. The film's blend of thrilling action, sharp humor, and memorable characters continues to captivate audiences, while its behind-the-scenes stories offer a glimpse into the passion and creativity that brought it to life. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about the controversial backstory between Indy and Marion? Was it wise for the filmmakers to downplay it, or could it have added depth to their relationship? Let us know in the comments.